do is we are nurses that ride in the helicopter that fly out to either hospitals to pick people up and bring them back to a higher level of care, or we fly out to a scene of like a car wreck or somebody that's having a heart attack or a stroke. We pick them up from EMS and we fly them back to the hospital for a higher level of care for, say, trauma surgeons or something like that. We see different things. It could be a trauma patient that we're having to give blood to. It could be that we have to put a tourniquet on them. It could be somebody that's having problems breathing, and we've got to put a breathing tube in for them to breathe, things like that. It's crowded for people that are kind of used to working in a big hospital, but this is where we work all the time, so we're kind of used to it. And for me, personally, I like it like this because I don't have to go moving around a lot. Everything's in my reach, and so I can kind of sit down and do all the stuff I need to do.
Yeah, it's warm, it's noisy. I wear the helmet with the headset in it, so I have to hear radio traffic from other airplanes or the pilot or talking to EMS, plus doing this and talking to each other and stuff like that. We can't hear the patient necessarily. So it's noisy. I wear a fireproof flight suit in the middle of the summertime. It's not fun. And the helmet, you sweat and get dehydrated. And so yeah, you're out in the heat. You're out on a blacktop pavement waiting for somebody to get extricated out of the car, and it's hot out there, and all that kind of stuff. So you're in the elements a lot. EMS calls us. I kind of know what's going on. I mean, I'll know it's a wreck. I might know the patient is a male or a female, and I might get a weight on them. That's about it. Everything else, we walk into it and figure it out. So I prepare for everything all the time.
I started out as a respiratory therapist at Hermann downtown, and I went to nursing school. And after I was a nurse for a while there, they approached me about going to school to get my paramedic, because you have to be a paramedic and a nurse to work for Life Flight. And so at the time, the director of Life Flight talked to me about getting my paramedic to be a flight nurse, actually. And so I went and I got my paramedic and started being a flight nurse shortly after that. I interviewed with Dr. Red Duke on my 40th birthday, and I just turned 49 last month. I was a respiratory therapist that worked in a nursery specifically before I started doing this, and so I've got a fair amount of experience working in nurseries, and I sometimes pick up extra shifts in the hospital doing that. And so, anyway, back up. So one day we got called out on a flight for a car wreck for this lady, and she was pregnant. We flew her in, and I remember her telling me her history and all that stuff, and so we flew her into the hospital, and 2 days later, I was picking up an extra shift in the nursery, and they called me down to a delivery, and so I go down to do a delivery, and I hear, and it was like a C-section, and I hear the dad talking to somebody about the mom getting into a car wreck a couple days before, and I said, wait a second. So I went and I talked to Dad, and I said, where'd this happen? And he told me, and so I went over and I talked to Mom. I said, hey, do you remember me? I'm the guy who picked you up on the helicopter, and now 2 days later I'm helping deliver her premature baby. So that was kind of cool. So, and then they both went home fine.
I mean, there are things about the job that people don't realize, like, I get off work and it's still the same old, hey, pick up a gallon of milk on the way home, or sometimes people say, yeah, I had a bad day, and I'm like, you have no idea, and I don't tell them, but I just like, you have no idea what a bad day is. And it's not that I had a bad day. I see other people's bad days. It's not my bad day. The bad day is the guy that was driving home and got hit by the drunk driver, or the guy that was, or the lady that's, owns a convenience store, a nail salon or something, and gets robbed, and somebody shoots her in the stomach, and all that kind of stuff. That's a bad day. I think it puts the rest of the world in perspective. For me, it does. I just like sitting up here by myself. I mean, yeah, I just sit up here. I'm the only one up here. Nobody else gets to come up here unless I let them up here. Really, it's the best view in the Woodlands.